Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm Ricky Chungus.
And I am the super strong machine.
Oh, very good.
Welcome to episode 109,
109.
Battlefield 1994.
It's January 4th. We're in the big old egg dome.
Holy crap. 94. I remember it well. Yeah, junior year of high school.
Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know. I really don't remember 94 particularly well.
I mean, you were, 6 at this point?
7?
About to turn 7?
Yeah, 7. So I turned...
It's January 4th.
January 4th, yeah. So, yeah, the 21st. So I'm about to turn... Yeah, about to turn 7. Don't know what I got for my birthday, but it was probably pretty cool.
Maybe with some wrestling stuff.
Could be.
No.
Probably not.
The only wrestling thing I have from my childhood is my Hulk Hogan buddy on the couch. And I got that because the commercial was sick. I was like, that's fucking cool.
See, I couldn't get the Hogan one. I bought my nephew. I bought him a shit ton of wrestling toys, so I can't remember if I got the Wrestling Buddy or not.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Warrior one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And now looking back, I kind of wish I would have got a Savage. Or I think there was a Jake the Snake one, too.
Those things are still worth money. I could probably sell that for like $80. If in a box, it's like probably like $300.
But this is the first Battlefield event produced by New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is the precursor to what is now known as Wrestle Kingdom, as it would take place on January 4th, 1994 in the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan, with an attendance of 48,000 people.
Nice little turnout.
A big old turnout. So this is the first show they ever did on January 4th in that building? No. Okay. It's just like... But because that's been the date...
4th.
Okay.
No, third.
Third, okay. But that's been like the big date for their, big Tokyo Dome shows. Like
because they started when they did the original WCW New Japan Super Show.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was in March.
Yes.
The other two were also on January 4th, and then they've just continued the tradition, no longer needing WCW to help them.
No.
And they're running their own show now on January 4th.
And then 20 years after this, or not 20, but another 15 years after this, they start calling it Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, because what are we at? 16 was this year?
Yeah, I think it is 16.
Or 16 next year. I think it's next year.
I think 16 is next year.
Yeah, I can't help you on this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
So 15 years this year, so about 2004, 2005.
So about a decade after this. Yeah. Give or take.
They all have, each one has, a fun name.
Yeah.
Basically.
Until
I think they do, I think they do Wrestling World a couple times.
Yeah, they just have, they try some stuff out, and then a decade later, they settle on Wrestle Kingdom for so far, at least 15 years.
That's a pretty good name.
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom. Anytime I've said Wrestle Kingdom to somebody that doesn't care about wrestling, they're like, that sounds fucking cool. And I was like, well, it is really cool.
And then you just go, it's the WrestleMania of Japan wrestling. And
exactly.
Then they know exactly what you're kind of talking about.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, so it is cool.
But we are in Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah, we are.
So that means Shane got to go find us something pretty tasty.
It was an adventure. One of the first times that we went, or that I went to Japan, I went to go to a place and they were closed. And today, another trip to Japan, my original option that I really, really wanted, is closed for renovations or weather damage or something like that after the big storm. So yeah, I had to go back to the drawing board, and luckily that first place that was closed that time was back open. So. And
what is the name of this secret restaurant?
Oh my goodness, I don't know the exact pronunciation. I say it Hiro, Jiro, sushi. You may say it gyro. I don't know.
Probably not gyro.
Probably
Go
not
Jiro or
Hiro.
Hiro.
Because the Anthony Bourdain books get Jiro.
I think so. And then Jiro Dreams of Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
Yeah. Is that how it's pronounced?
I
Jiro?
don't know.
I
I mean,
think
that's how us white folk have said it.
Yeah.
But if I heard a Japanese man say it, it might sound different.
Yes, lots of white man pronunciation of Japanese names going on today.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Trigger warning.
But easily pronunciated. This one is known as monkey brains. It's basically a deep fried spring roll that they cut sushi style, and then they stack on some. What is all the goodness on here? Spicy tuna, crab mix, eel sauce, tagarashi, and green onions. So you've got some heat. You've got the coolness of the crab. You've got the spiciness of the tuna.
Is Tagarashi the little eggs?
I think so.
Okay. I always just say Masago, but I'm sure there's different names for different ones.
Oh, yeah. Pretty tasty. I'd never had one of these before. I've had monkey brains from different places before. When I say monkey brains, it always makes me think of Indiana Jones.
Temple of
Temple of Doom, baby.
My favorite one when I was a kid, because it's the gross one.
And it's the awesome one, too.
Yeah. It's got the bugs and the brains and the heart ripping.
Fuck the snakes and the Nazis. Just give me the ripping hearts out of chests and eating monkey brains, damn it. And running from a big giant boulder.
Yeah, and a little fat sidekick.
What's that?
He's got a little fat sidekick.
Oh, yeah. Short round.
Well, yeah, that. I know that.
Yeah, I've had monkey brains at another place here in town, which was kind of similar with the same stuffed in there, only instead of using a
so that's why it was so
spring
hardy.
roll.
It's like a spring roll.
Yeah.
I was like, this is some hefty tempura here.
I know, that's what I thought too. I was like, so.
This is a hearty chunk here.
Other places use the same little stuffing for it, but I've had it where they take an avocado and then tempura, fry that with the stuff in there, and then cut it and quarter it and drizzle it with the eel sauce and whatnot on there. But either way, it's good.
So if you're ever in Oklahoma City, definitely go check out
Jiro, Jiro, Jiro sushi.
Yeah, what he said.
Northwest 23rd and Western, right on the edge of the Asian district.
Because it's very delicious.
Yeah, that was totally good. I might have to check that one out.
But something that happened right around the same time as this show, Nancy Kerrigan would be attacked by Tanya Harding's ex-husband.
Oh, no!
Get her knee busted. What's the...
Galooly!
No, what's the terrible, awful... sound recording of her screaming about her knee.
Why?
Yeah, it's why. I was like, why? I know what it is. It's such a crazy, brutal thing to have happened. It was such a big deal. The 30 for 30 is incredible. The Margot Robbie movie is pretty good. This is a wonderful thing that happened. A terrible thing that happened that has so many people have derived so much enjoyment out of, unfortunately.
Celebrity boxing that came from it.
Oh, was there?
Oh, yeah.
Tanya Harding.
And Nancy Kerrigan boxed?
No, just Tanya Harding.
I'm trying to remember who she went against.
Dustin Diamond?
R.I.P.
Yeah.
It was like Paula Jones or something like that, if I'm remembering right. I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
I never watched any. I never watched any celebrity boxing.
Again, I was a teenager when this happened, so this was the everything of pop culture right at the beginning of the year.
I remember it being a huge deal.
Yeah.
I was a little kid, but so I have that memory. But that 30 for 30, oh man, so good.
Yeah,
and
30
then
for 30 is
that
really good.
that movie is pretty good too.
I'm telling you,
I had a good time watching it.
Everybody wants to cover Tanya Harding, but nobody wants to play Nancy Kerrigan. It seems.
I mean, Nancy Kerrigan is boring. She's just the typical ice skater. Tanya Harding is a fucking southern trash person.
She's America's sweetheart. Kerrigan is.
Yeah, and Tanya Harding
But
is
sometimes America's sweetheart is just kind of bland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Need a little spice in your life.
Did you ever watch her
That's Tanya Harding.
Saturday Night Live episode?
Yeah, it was not good.
Who?
Nancy Kerrigan
Nancy
when
Kerrigan.
she hosted Saturday Night
Oh,
Live.
that sounds incredibly terrible. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Not good.
it's about
This
as
was before she got her
boring
knee
and
knocked
dry.
out, right? Was
No,
before,
it was
afterwards?
after the. I think it was after the Olympics.
I think so. It was part of her 15 minutes.
Yeah, my biggest issue with that movie is you trying to ugly up Margot Robbie, or not ugly her up, but it's I don't know if
put
this is the right
glasses on her.
person.
Put glasses on,
Yeah.
give her braces.
But yeah, I remember enjoying
a bit of a mullet.
Having a really fun time watching that movie.
That was a good show.
Allison Janney. That's the performance in that movie.
Oh yeah, Allison Janney's great. Give me an Allison Janney or a Laurie Metcalf playing a like low to medium income mom, and I am fucking down. They're the queens of it. I give Metcalf the slight edge.
That year, yes, definitely.
But they're great actresses, and especially Laurie Metcalf. You just can be watching something. I don't know what I was watching the other day, and I was like, oh, that's her doing the voice. I don't remember what it was, but it was obviously something animated.
You take me back to Uncle Buck. I mean, I through all the controversy that Roseanne got on that initial, right after that 10th season, I mean, I grew up on Roseanne, so
Roseanne rules.
Aunt Jackie was the shit. She still is on the Connors. I love her to death. Can't go wrong with Laurie Metcalf when she was nominated for the Oscar for
Lady Bird.
Yep. I wished and hoped and prayed that she would win, but
a pretty good movie. But if any award should have come up from it, I would probably just say slap it on Laurie Metcalf.
Yep.
Because it's a good movie, but it's not the kind of movie you really like. I can't wait to watch that again. It's like, oh, that was really good. But
I really liked it.
I liked it a lot too.
I mean,
there was another coming of age movie that came out like a couple of years before that I liked more, called 20th Century Woman. So I watched Lady Bird and I was like, this is pretty good, but I really liked 20th Century Woman a lot better.
I forgot about that. I never saw it, but
it's really good.
Let's just say Greta Gerwig and Saoirse Ronan is a good team.
Oh yeah,
because
Little
Women was really good too.
I actually really liked Little Women a lot.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch it because there's just been so many. I mean, I know there's been so many different versions of A Star Is Born, and I watched the Lady Gaga one, but I was like, God damn it, we just had a Little Women like 2 years ago.
Great.
I swear.
I mean, I think like all the performances are great, but it was the year of Florence Pugh. She was in like 4 movies and knocked it out of the park in all of them, and she's so good in this. All the performances are good in it.
How long it took me to realize that that's who Zach Braff was with. Is Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
I always hear him talking about Florence and Flo, but it just never registered until the full name was said, and I was like, holy shit.
It's
her.
The girl that played Paige.
Yeah.
Bring it back to wrestling.
Yeah, and that was another thing.
That was her
role.
breakout role.
That was her.
No, and then that year everything she's done is she's been really great at.
Absolutely. Well, let's see if everything that we watched at Battlefield is great as well.
Well, this is Japan, so we're about to start with a big old tag match.
Multi-man tag.
Bring it.
So our first match is Heisei Ishingun of the Great Kabuki, Kengo Kimura, Kuniaki Kobayashi, Michiyoshi Ohara, and Shiro Koshinaka.
That's team Hail Bop Comet. They got the purple robes on. And that's all I could think of. Is like they're all wearing purple robes. It's gonna be hard for me to like figure it out because I haven't really seen any of these guys before. If I have, it's maybe only in a match. But they're the Hail Bop.
Because all these
Hail Bop boys.
All these matches were in Japanese. So
yeah.
Thank you, Kabuki, for wearing face paint and at least looking a little different than everybody else.
The opposing team was El Samurai, Manabu Nakanishi, Osamu Kido, Satoshi Kojima, and Yuji Nagata.
We know some of those guys because
some of them are still kicking.
I mean, 2 of those guys are still in New Japan, and one just retired recently. So, if you're currently, watching New Japan, you'll recognize Kojima and Nagata and Manabu for sure.
Last time we saw Great Kabuki was all the way back at Starrcade 1983.
Whoa.
Episode 1. Kimura,
don't remember it.
Kobayashi, and Kido at Super Show 1, which was episode 55. Ohara at Super Show 2, episode 65. Koshinaka at the G1 Climax 93, episode 97. And Samurai at the Super Show 3, which was episode 83. We also did happen to catch a glimpse of Nakanishi as he was in the crowd at the Halloween Havoc 92 back in episode 76. And last but not least...
Was that that wasn't the 4-way cage match, was it? No, that was earlier.
No.
Yeah. because Flair was over. Flair was in WWF in '92. I was just thinking of like who else Japanese would be over there. Muda might have been over there.
He was just
there.
Yeah.
That's
He
cool.
had just been signed to New Japan, and they were promoting their super show that they were about to go do, and that's why he was there. And last but not least, Yuji Nagata is a Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Famer. Because this is our first time to see anything of his. So the match gets going with Nakanishi starting off with elbows on Ohara, only for Ohara to slap him away multiple times before Kobayashi comes in to throw Nakanishi out of the ring and deliver a baseball slide kick.
Hot start, baby.
Nakanishi's a big old boy.
Yes. Back in the ring, Kabuki delivers a drop kick. Kimura hits a snapmare and applies a sleeper, only for Nakanishi to get his boot on the ropes. Koshinaka's in with punches, but Nakanishi fires back with forearms to make it to his corner to bring in El Samurai with kicks, a scoop slam, and a leg drop. The two trade blows before Kojima comes in, so they begin trading forearms until Koshinaka hits a hip attack, and Ohara comes in with a diving lariat for a 2 count. Ohara stays on the attack with stomps and slaps until Kojima comes back with slaps of his own and a head slam into a turnbuckle. Nagata comes in with kicks until Ohara is able to escape to the corner with a snapmare, bringing in Kimura, who hits a back body drop, and Koshinaka with a back suplex, allowing Nagata to roll to his corner for a tag. Koshinaka keeps taking Kido down, only to be kicked away each time, so Ohara comes in to trade blows until Samurai comes in with a dropkick. El Samurai continues with a Boston Crab, only for Ohara to power out, but Nakanishi comes in to work the leg with a single leg crab. Kojima jumps in the ring to deliver some stomps, which allows Kobayashi to kick Nakanishi out of the hold. Ohara has the sleeper put on him by Nakanishi, followed by Nagata keeping the hold on. Kojima's in with a body slam, second rope elbow drop on Ohara, before delivering a drop kick to Koshinaka to knock him off the apron, which leads to Ishingun jumping him from behind to beat down Kojima. Kobayashi telegraphs the back body drop, allowing Kojima to hit a sunset flip for a 2 count. El Samurai then hits a sunset flip as well, before Kobayashi tosses him through the ropes to the ramp and follows out to deliver a face crusher.
Face crusher! That was one of the things I could understand that they were saying.
Yeah, that was like that.
It's fun to hear the
whole lot of power behind it.
Yeah.
Face crusher on it, the ramp. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. You were doing that, and I was about to say face crusher, but just like generically like a thrash. Every time, yeah, there's some words that work. There's a thrash song by a band called Power Trip, where the chorus is just crossbreaker. So anytime there's like one word, the first thing that comes to my head, I'm just like, but you just say it out and nobody gets the reference. So you had a better one, and you beat me to it.
Back in the ring, Kabuki hits a clothesline for a 2 count. Koshinaka with a scoop slam, followed by a combo heel kick hip attack from Koshinaka and Kimura on Samurai. Kimura continues with a Boston Crab, only for Nakanishi to break it up. El Samurai then hits a drop kick and a Frankensteiner for the near fall on Kobayashi, only for him to retaliate with a fisherman's suplex for a 2 count. Kojima and Kimura both get tagged in, with Kojima hitting multiple jumping forearms. Kabuki comes in only to receive some forearms as well, before hitting a super kick on a charging Kojima.
He ate the boot.
Kido comes in grabbing an armbar on Kabuki.
We get a big pop on the armbar too. I was like, is this his thing? Is this one of his SIGs?
It's the year of the armbar.
In Japan, it's always the year of the armbar.
But it's quickly broken up before Samurai comes off the top rope with a missile dropkick. Nagata with a jumping knee on Kabuki before doing the same to Ohara, followed by an overhead belly-to-belly suplex for a near fall. Ohara elbows away from Nagata, allowing Koshinaka to come in off the top rope with a diving hip attack. Ohara then hits multiple Nadawa Atashis, aka choke slams, for the pin and the win.
I like that word, Nadawa Atashi.
Our purple guys are the boys in the royal gi.
Yes.
Right? Purple's a royal color.
Yep. Team Perp wins.
But basically, Team Purple they're a group of guys from War. We've talked about them before. It's another promotion. They were kind of doing a crossover thing. And actually, two of these guys...
This is kind of like the Super Show with WCW, but this is with War.
With War, basically. And like Kojima and Nagata were basically young lions at this point.
Okay.
So they're literally... This is their first big match that they
they haven't wrestled in front of 48,000 people before.
No, exactly. So they're not the names that we know now.
No.
This is like them just getting started. So,
which is really, I mean, I love when we do these shows and you get to see those guys like
absolutely.
that. It's like, yeah, it's cool to watch early Sting a bunch, but it's Sting. So I've seen a lot of Sting. It's kind of fun when you see these older guys that are still working, and some of them really pulling out some great matches whenever they have a singles match, and then see them all young and brisk.
So we head off to our second match. Akitoshi Saito and Masashi Aoyagi.
Aoyagi, you got it.
Versus JJ Jax of Akira Nogami and Takayuki Iizuka.
Or as I said, Purple Orient Express versus Purple Rockers.
So last time we...
Iizuka without his little beard.
Last time we saw Iizuka was at the G1 Climax 93, episode 97. Akira at Super Show 3, episode 83. And Aoyagi at Super Show 2, episode 65. And you guys might remember Iizuki as the guy who got knocked out.
Iizuka, yeah.
Iizuka.
Yeah.
As the guy who got knocked out in the Steiners match.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So I was like, ooh. Yeah, he basically just got like legitimately knocked out and like recovered on the floor or whatever. Seeing stars.
So Masashi and Akira with some back and forth until some Masashi kicks to the chest. Saito joins in with elbows and kicks of his own until Akira grabs his leg to take him down. Iizuka comes in to trade kicks with Saito until he hits a hip toss and goes to work on the arm, trying for a cross arm breaker, only for Saito to escape. Masashi connects with a spinning heel kick and other kicks, until Iizuka can grab the leg to apply a leg lock and mounted punches, when Saito jumps in the ring to break it up. Masashi back to the kicks, followed by a Saito shot to the gut and a Masashi spinning heel kick combo to Iizuka for a 2 count. Saito looks for a cross arm breaker, but Iizuka reverses it into a leg lock, only for Saito to make it to the ropes. Iizuka hits a body slam, and Akira goes for a spinning heel kick, only for Saito to duck, but Iizuka just comes back with an elbow to the face and an Akira face crusher, before applying the leg lock, only for Masashi to break it up. Saito with a back suplex and a spinning heel kick for a 2 count. Masashi with kicks and forearms to the back of the head until Akira fires up to trade blows.
Hit somebody in the back of the head, and they're going to go upset.
Mm-hmm.
Nogami then catches a kick and delivers an elbow to the leg. Iizuka goes to work on that leg with an ankle lock and a leg lock until Masashi can make it to the ropes to break the hold, but the Jacks stay on it, when Akira turns him over into a single leg crab, which Saito breaks up with 3 stiff kicks. Masashi's able to make the tag, but Saito's taken down by Akira into a submission hold, only for Saito to make the ropes before it's fully applied.
I love that it took 3. He's just like holding the crab and he's like, I'm gonna take these kicks, man. Like it's like the holding on to the end of the 5 break period. It's like I'll just take another couple of kicks just to do some more damage to this knee.
He's got some solid kicks to him too.
Oh yeah.
Saito drives Akira back into a corner, delivering more kicks, but another elbow to the leg allows the tag to Iizuka, only for him to be punched and kneed as he comes into the ring. Saito with a spinning heel kick for a 2 count. Masashi with a spinning heel kick for a 2 count. Saito tries for another, but is blocked this time by Iizuka with a knee, and goes back to the ankle lock, only to be broken up by Masashi. Saito goes for a back suplex, only for Akira to come off the top with a double axe handle to break it up, which allows Iizuka to hit a Uranagi, and Akira comes off the top again with the Masabi press for the pin, and no! Saito kicks out. Saito then goes for a kick, but Akira blocks it, hitting a bridging German suplex for the pin, And the win.
Beautiful little suplex there at the end, too.
I know. I feel like 30% of matches should end with a bridging suplex.
Especially.
I literally feel
I love it so much.
Bridging German suplex is literally one of my favorite moves.
Yeah, because it's like super simple. It always looks devastating, and then the bridge, it's like, well, hold it in. Like, hold it in, and that looked so good. Why wouldn't it work?
Yeah. We then go to our third match.
Oh.
Hey, be nice.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
I think they just call him Brutus Beefcake. At least on New Japan, they probably don't have. They probably
don't have rights to the barber.
Yeah, Vince McMahon kept the scissors when Brutus left.
With Jimmy Hart versus Black Cat. Now, the last time we saw Beefcake was at WrestleMania 9, episode 88.
Kind of wishing he was still wearing that face mask, because...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the face mask. Yeah. God, that was when they used the face mask. Was WrestleMania 9 one of the worst WrestleManias?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit.
It's kind of fun because it's so ridiculous, but overall I'm just like, well, yeah, seeing JR in a toga is great. But
got Bobby Heenan thumping out on a camel.
Yeah. There's a fun spectacle there.
I think that was some of our favorite parts of that show.
Yeah, it was the spectacle stuff.
None of the matches were good.
Yeah, there's
the over the
some
top
moments. There's a lot of moments.
Smears.
Yeah, but they're typically not in the ring.
No,
they're not. It's not the work rate.
So Black Cat takes control with an elbow drop and a lariat early on, but Beefcake attacks from behind when the Cat is distracted by Jimmy Hart on the ramp, before throwing him through the ropes to the floor. Brutus delivers a double axe handle from the apron, rolls Black Cat back to start, choking him with his knee. The Barber with multiple snapmares and starts working the back until the Cat catches him in the gut. The two trade blows when Black Cat hits a left hook that floors Beefcake. The Cat continues with a DDT for a 2 count, goes to the Boston Crab, but Brutus makes the ropes to break a hold. The two again are trading blows when the Barber rakes the eyes, bites the forehead, and hits a back elbow for a 2 count.
It looks like he bit his earlobe, like he was gonna bite the earlobe and tell him his room number or something.
And kicking the legs of Beefcake.
It's Brutus, so who knows?
What do you think his pickup line was? He's like, both our names start with B.
Give me some of that, kitty. I don't know.
Oh, God. I love it. Man.
Black Cat's back up, kicking the legs of Beefcake to take him down. Goes to apply the Scorpion Deathlock, but Brutus is able to block it. More strikes from both men when the Barber comes off the ropes with a shoulder block and a forearm shiver for a near fall. Beefcake lifts the Cat up for a vertical suplex for a 2 count, sends him to the corner, charging in, only to receive a big boot, followed by a sunset flip for a near fall. Black Cat with a back suplex for a 2 count, a scoop slam, and goes for a jumping elbow drop, but Brutus moves in time. The Barber then hits a falling headbutt, goes for the Irish whip, but it's reversed, only for Beefcake to duck a clothesline and come back off the ropes with a jumping knee for the pin and the win.
And when he pinned, he was like, is your mom's name also Martha?
That match.
I mean, let's just say that they put it on the show as a favor to
Hogan and
someone else that's later on in the match.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Spoiler. I mean, it was
I
probably better beef work than we've seen before. It was it wasn't overly long, and we got to hear Jimmy Hart yell "Dig deep, baby" through a microphone.
I got Fringe versus Fringe, baby. This match sucks.
We've seen so much worse.
Was the other guy's gear inspired by Brutus and Brett? And
but even Brutus is yeah. I mean, he's just going.
He's got heart-shaped fringe, pink and black. Goes for a scorpion.
He was like, maybe the people up really high will think I'm Bret Hart.
Brutus wins, and that match was brutal.
It was. At least it was. It wasn't 15 minutes.
No, it wasn't. It was.
It was the right amount.
Yeah, it was probably 8 minutes.
Quick, simple to get through, and then what I love about that New Japan app is that as soon as the match is over, it just goes dead silent and it's done.
Yeah. This show is like segmented on the World app. It's not just the whole thing like a pay-per-view. So you get to cut some of that dead air, especially considering that we wouldn't be able to understand the commentary.
And you get to know exactly how long the match you're watching is going to be before it gets halfway through.
I found that to be kind of nice too.
Yeah. Like, do I need to go to the bathroom? No, this one's only 14 minutes.
So it seems a little bit faster sometimes when you know when it's like, oh, it's 15 minutes long. And you're just like, oh, cool.
Because you can take about 2 to 3 minutes off of it because that's the actual match time.
Yeah, with the intros.
Because they do all the intros and everything. But we then go to our fourth match. Super Strong Machine versus Tatsutoshi Goto. And the last time we saw Super Strong Machine was at G1 Climax 93, episode 97. And Goto all the way back at Super Show 1, episode 55. So the two are trading punches and clotheslines before going into a test of strength when Super Strong Machine hits a knee to the gut and a headbutt. More back and forth when Goto takes down the machine, goes for a crossface, but Super Strong Machine reverses it into a side headlock, which Goto Irish whips out of, only for the two men to run into each other and both no-sell it. They start trading blows once again when Super Strong Machine hits an enziguri, applies a sleeper into a butterfly lock, but Goto gets his foot on the ropes.
Big ups to Goto's pumpkin head. What a noggin on that man. It's like it's just like a square. It's great.
Machine drags Goto back to the middle of the mat to reapply the hold, only for Goto to kick out of it. Goto with more kicks until Super Strong Machine catches the leg, delivers a lariat, a vertical suplex, and a body slam. Machine then goes to the top rope, only for Goto to meet him up there to go for a press slam. But Super Strong Machine punches him away and hits a top rope bulldog, followed with a lariat attempt. But Goto ducks and grabs Machine for a release German suplex.
What's better? Like, is a release German like on the same level as the bridging German? The release is just a nasty power move.
It's like that line right below it.
Yeah, because
the bridging, because you have to be able to hold on to them and land just perfectly.
And it like lays it in. It's like planting them on the mat as opposed to tossing. One of them just seems like more of a rage move, and the other one's like, all right, I'm done with you.
The Cena-Lesnar match from a few years back where it was just like 16 or 17 released German suplexes in a row where he just was throwing Cena again.
Yeah, when like he did that with Daniel Bryan recently, but John Cena's a much bigger man.
Yeah.
A little more impressive.
Yep.
Goto with a pair of clotheslines goes for a back suplex, only for Super Strong Machine to reverse it into a running bulldog, followed by a bridging German suplex for a 2 count. Machine then hits a devil windmill suplex, which is a hammerlock vertical suplex, for a 2 count, and goes for a second one, but Goto blocks and reverses it into a back suplex, only for Super Strong Machine to reverse to land on top of Goto. Machine then heads up to the...
Good moment. It was a nice transition. That is not always the easiest transition to pull off.
Yeah.
Machine then heads up to the top rope for a diving headbutt for the pin and the win. Even though it looks like Goto kicks out.
Yeah, I know. That it's like he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna kick out basically at 3. I was like, is he just like refusing to lay down? Like he's just a fuck you to them?
Basically. That's what I've heard about this about Goto, is that he was kind of stubborn and
with a big old head like that.
Yeah.
You'd assume as much. So we're like, is Goto a war guy?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably why then. Because I was like, well, he was like, we're not taking all the losses.
So
I'm gonna cut a promo on the half-hour show next week about how it's not fair, even though we're not working together anymore.
So like Raw is red, SmackDown is blue, is War purple?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like in my head the War logo is black and yellow, but I'm not super familiar with the promotion.
It might have changed since.
Yeah, exactly.
Since then.
WCW logo has been yellow, it's been purple, it's been red, it's been black and silver, and looks like a cat's butthole.
It looks kind of like what our logo looks like right now.
Yes, yeah. Red, that's the red, yeah. The red and yellow.
So then we go to our fifth match. Jushin Thunder Liger
Hey.
versus Tiger Mask in a mask versus mask match.
This is we're getting to the good shit.
So the last time we saw both Liger and Tiger Mask was on our G1 Climax 93 episode, back at 97. These two men are back and forth to start with lots of mat work between the two. But the action picks up once Tiger Mask hits a back suplex for a 2 count.
Don't forget the surfboard bridge. I just wanted to say there was a cool surfboard bridge.
Applies a head scissors only for Jushin to reverse it into a camel clutch. But he releases it to hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and locking on a Romero special, yanking back on the neck as well, which Tiger Mask escapes with a rake of the eyes. Liger with multiple rolling kapu kicks, which are his cannonball kicks. But Tiger Mask doesn't go down, responding with a drop kick, so Jushin tries for a couple more to finally get him down. Liger heads up top with a missile drop kick, but is met by a Tiger Mask drop kick of his own to knock both men down. Tiger Mask is up first and goes for a cross arm breaker, only for Jushin to block it, so Tiger Mask reverts to mounted punches. But Liger responds with a show tie, snapmare, and a head scissor, which Tiger Mask escapes by reaching the ropes. Tiger Mask, stomping away on Jushin, straddles him on the second rope in a corner and delivers a dropkick, a backbreaker, and before going up top for a moonsault, which Liger rolls out of the way of. Jushin retaliates with another kapu kick and a dropkick to send Tiger Mask out to the floor, followed by a baseball slide. He then fakes a suicide dive to showboat, which allows Tiger Mask to roll back in and deliver a dropkick to send Liger out to the floor. But Tiger Mask doesn't showboat, hitting the tope suicido. Back in the ring, Tiger Mask...
It's a big one, too. Yes. This isn't your NXT tope suicido. Yeah. One for every match.
Fly out and push the guy.
Yeah. It's typically the women's ones that look really bad, where I'm like, guys, just don't do this. You could do so many impressive things. Not everybody has to do this.
Back in the ring, Tiger with a scoop slam and a top rope rounding body press goes for the cover, but picks Jushin's head up to stop the count. Followed by going for
blood.
Followed by going for the Tiger suplex, but Liger blocks it and hits a clothesline. Powerbomb follows, and Jushin places Tiger Mask on the top rope, hitting a Frankensteiner for a 2 count. Then hits a Liger bomb for a near fall. Goes for another, but this time Tiger flips over on top of Jushin for a 2 count of his own.
Yeah, he flips to his chest and just presses him down for a 2 count.
Tiger Mask then puts Liger on the top rope, climbing up as well to deliver a drop kick, sending Jushin out to the ramp. Tiger follows out to deliver a cartwheel twisting body press before heading up top, but he slips as he comes off the ropes and flops to the ramp without hitting Liger.
Yeah, see, I was trying to figure that out if he had slipped or what the hell happened, because it looked like he went to jump and was like,
yeah,
okay,
he just completely slipped.
He too cold Scorpio'd, which is a bummer because he did it in front of 48,000 people, but at least he sold it pretty well.
Back in the ring, Tiger Mask keeps up the attack with a top rope missile dropkick. Follows it up with a bridging German suplex for a 2 count, a body slam, and hits a second rope twisting senton. Goes back up top for a tornillo, only for Jushin to avoid.
I know, I was like, what is that? It's a twist thing. Yeah. I'm glad you got the name.
Liger hits the backbreaker, comes off the top with a shooting star press for the pin, and the win.
That spot where Tiger Mask lands, like when Liger rolls from his tornillo, the twisty thing, like Tiger Mask basically lands on his face. It's gnarly. I was like, oh. Yeah. I will say, one of my favorite spots in this, we kind of skipped over, they go back to the surfboard, and Liger in the surfboard, has him in the surfboard and then cranks on a headlock, and I crapped my pants a little. I loved it so much. They do a lot of impressive stuff here, but that was just that was the extra crank of Parmesan, baby.
Literally, this match was I was all in on this match, and then Tiger Mask slips, and I'm just like, oh.
It went from 5-star to 4 and 3/4.
Because they you can tell that they
It just sucked. It's like
they just went to the next thing instead of actually like selling that he missed it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh god.
If Liger could have got, if he could have got like at least a moment of offense in on him off of it, maybe.
Yeah.
But we've seen things like this go a lot worse.
Yeah.
And especially in matches that are a lot less good.
Yeah.
So.
Post match, Tiger Mask takes his mask off, tosses it at Jushin, but Liger shows respect by consoling him and raising his hand.
I know, I couldn't believe he took his own mask off. I was like, what's the deal with this?
Well, yeah, that was a part that confused me because I didn't realize at the start that it was a mask versus mask match. I was like, what the hell is
I
he
didn't
throwing his
realize
mask at
that
him
either.
for?
So it was like when he pulled it off, I was like, "Wah!" That making sense that he took his own mask off and out of like frustration. And was like, fuck. It was great. And one of the also fun things is that in Japan, especially at this point in time, match over, everybody hugs.
Yeah. Lots of respect. A lot of respect.
Yes.
But this was Tiger Mask 3, a.k.a. Koji Kanemoto. Person that you see nowadays is Tiger Mask 4, and he's been that since about 95-ish. So
Yeah.
we'll see
And
Tiger Mask
he's still
4
going.
soon.
Liger retired, and Liger could still go. Tiger Mask is not as in the same kind of shape, even though he's still wrestling, as Liger. Like
No.
he's good in a undercard multi-tag, but he's not very fanciful. Whereas Liger could still pull out some of the shit in his old age.
And actually, one other note that I read, but I can't verify if it's true or not. But it's what was said in the article that I read. But this is the last time that Liger would ever go for a shooting star press.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I know. I saw it and I was like, "Ooh, wow!" Like, is this the first time we've seen him?
I think it's the
do
first
it?
time we've seen him, but
Yeah,
from what I read, it was
he did it.
the last time that the person who wrote the article.
Yeah, it was like that was
It
his
was the last time that he remembered ever seeing him do one as well.
Well, I
So,
mean, it was very impressive. It was a very good shooting star press, but it was one of those ones where like the flip seemed like his head was just like a couple inches off the mat when he hit the flip. It was obviously shooting star press, very impressive.
yes. We then go to our sixth match, the Hellraisers of Road Warrior Hawk and Power Warrior, aka Kensuke Sasaki, versus the Jurassic Powers of Hercules Hernandez and Scott Norton for the IWGP Tag Team Championships.
Not Flash Norton yet?
They didn't really ever call him Flash over there, I don't think.
Yeah. Who's the guy, the big tall guy on the mic? I was like, well, that's not Baba, but I was like, who's this big tall guy?
I think he's the president
Of War or something, or
of
maybe New Japan.
New Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have the ring announcer in like the full like ceremonial like samurai like sumo like war dress
Kimono type
thing.
stuff,
Yeah, it's cool.
Last time we saw Power Warrior and the Jurassic Powers was at G1 Climax 93 back in episode 97. And the match gets going with lots of tie-ups.
First things first, the teams refuse to shake hands. They
They
don't
don't
want to
like
shake
each other.
hands. They're not here for that. Here to hold a title or gain a title.
And they remind me, did they wrestle each other at G1?
We saw like a clip of a title change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We get warrior chants early on.
So lots of tie-ups and growling with no one gaining an advantage early on.
Well, the Hawk growls are top tier Hawk growls.
Then Hawk and Norton decide that clotheslines would settle it, only for them to still be standing. So Road Warrior hits a drop kick and a leaping shoulder tackle to take down Scott, before coming off the top rope with a diving lariat for a 2 count.
I know. In 1988, that would have been the end of the match.
Agreed.
Power Warrior and Hercules take over with neither of them gaining an advantage until they go to the test of strength, with Hernandez winning that battle, throwing Kensuke to the mat, only for Power Warrior to come back with multiple lariats and a face crusher for a 2 count. Hawk in with a back suplex, clubbing blows, goes for a hip toss, which is blocked and reversed several times until Hercules and Road Warrior are in the ropes. Hernandez with a cheap shot and nails a pile driver, only for Hawk to pop right back up to hit a clothesline and a power slam for a 2 count.
Ugh. I know they're all big guys. No selling a pile driver. I know this is the like super heavyweight tag match. So like, but these guys really do fucking no sell some monster moves on each other.
So if you're complaining about pile drivers not being as devastating as they should be,
they
blame Road Warrior.
Oh, I don't want to put a blame on him. You can blame the Road Warriors for a lot of stuff not getting sold in their career.
Road Warrior calls for Norton to come back in the ring, and Scott takes control with an elbow to the head and a series of shoulder tackles. But he then runs into a big boot and a clothesline. Power Warrior tags in, but Norton is right on him with a trio of lariats. Kenzuke bounces back up and goes for lariats of his own, which finally knocks Scott down on the 3rd try. Norton's back up and hits a back suplex and a power slam. Makes the cover, only for Hawk to break it up.
The crowd's hot for this. Those sold clotheslines, when someone finally gets one, 48,000 people cheer.
Hercules telegraphs a back body drop, so Kenzuke kicks him and hits a body slam. Road Warrior and Hernandez matching blow for blow when Hercules drops Hawk to the outside, allowing Scott to assault him on the floor by slamming him against the ring post.
Posted.
The Jurassic Powers begin working the back inside the ring with back breakers, chin locks, and a neck breaker for a 2 count. Rubber band slam by Hercules and back to the reverse chin lock, only for Road Warrior to power up to break free, but Hernandez floors him with a lariat. The Jurassic Powers staying on the attack as Hercules goes to the 2nd rope for a single sledge before applying a bear hug. Hawk is clubbing his back to break the hold, but Hernandez just drives him back into the corner.
I love that they built to the bear hug. Sometimes you just get a bear hug for no reason, and that's when a bear hug sucks. But it's like, oh no, we just pounded his back for 2 minutes. Yep. Here's the bear hug. Like, thank you guys.
Double shoulder tackle by the Jurassic Powers. Norton locks the bear hug on again, ramming Road Warrior's back into the corner. Hercules with a body slam. Then comes off the 2nd rope for a splash, only for Hawk to roll out of the way. Hawk begins to fire up with a big boot, leaping shoulder tackle, before heading out to the ramp, where he gets a running start and sails over the ropes with another leaping shoulder tackle.
Fucking sick as fuck.
That was cool.
It was fucking cool.
Power Warrior comes in with a body slam on Norton, while Road Warrior heads up top where he hits a double clothesline on the Jurassic Powers. Hawk and Scott starting to brawl out on the ramp, while Kenzuke hits a power slam and an impanze, which is an over-the-shoulder arm drag, judo type move, for the pin and the win. And new! Fun match.
Yeah, Power Warrior got the pin. He got the like, it wasn't really a hot tag, but when he did get the tag, like it didn't really feel like a hot tag, but it was essentially a hot tag. But when he came in, like, Japanese crowd loved their Power Warrior.
It's hard to be a hot tag off of a dude just leaping over the ropes into with a leaping shoulder tackle and then going, okay, I'm going to tag out.
Yeah. Like, it's not a hot tag, but it is the hot tag spot. I think it would have been nice if it was a hot tag, because then maybe the arm drag would have been a more, like, you know, exciting finish. But these big boys do big boy shit. And
unfortunately, it was also kind of hard to see the finisher because Scott and Road Warrior were brawling out on the ramp, and it was basically right in front of where they were in the ring. So it was kind of hard to... I saw them brawling, and then I was like, all of a sudden the bell rang, and I was like,
let me rewind. Yeah.
Like, what happened?
I did the same thing. I like the concept of the visual of, like, them in front of the camera, you know, so the guy could get the pin. Like, I think it was a cool visual, but, like, it just needed a different angle. And then didn't love that it was an arm drag, but I thought that was a potentially cool camera angle, but it wasn't the best execution of that idea, but it was a cool one, basically. They give him some paper. Like, some official guy reads to Hawk and Power Warrior and gives them a piece of paper and then some belts. I'm like, what's this piece of paper?
We're in Japan. They like giving them trophies and certificates along with the belts.
You know, and I want a big check.
I mean, they probably got that in the back.
Yeah.
Just extra.
We then go to our 7th match. The Steiner brothers of Rick and Scott Steiner.
Versus Stefan Hiroshi. No, I'm kidding. That's just what it said on New Japan World. It's Hiroshi Heisei.
Versus Hiroshi Heisei and Keiji Muto, a.k.a. the Great Muto.
Muto-san.
So the last time we saw Heisei and Muto was at the G1 Climax 1993, episode 97. So the two teams shake hands before starting, and then we get Scott and Heisei matching up as they work the mat until Hiroshi delivers a fireman's carry takeover. Rick and Muta tag in with some mat work of their own until Scott comes back in to hit an overhead belly-to-belly, which Keiji rolls out afterwards to regroup.
And, you know, Steiner Brothers got some more meat than these guys.
A little bit.
You gotta get your brain floating a little bit, spinning around. You gotta roll out and collect yourself.
And I just have to state for the record, as I have written in my notes here, that Muto is one handsome sumbitch. He's filled out nicely over the last few years.
He's a good-looking gentleman.
Put some meat on him.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more meat on him now, and
Too pretty of a
and
face to put under all that makeup, but
and a big
he
old
still
belt.
wears the makeup well.
Yeah.
Heisei comes back in and goes for a suplex, only for Scott to block, so Hiroshi takes him to the mat, applying a crossface. Scott begins wearing down Heisei with several holds, only for Hiroshi to get his foot on the ropes to break it up. Back to their feet, Scott with a tiger driver, and Muta runs in only to be press slammed by Rick, while Scott press slams Heisei as well, sending the Japanese gentleman out of the ring to regroup. Back in the ring, Keiji throws Scott out to the rampway, hitting a vertical suplex, and then runs all the way up the ramp to come returning with
All the way back.
lariat.
A long ass
Rick,
He was mad. I mean, there was a moment here where Rick Steiner runs in, does some wolf stuff, gets on all fours, and
Lifts
fake
his leg,
pee-pees
yeah.
on him like a doggy. So, you know, they've been disrespected in front of 48,000 people by these two meatheads in American flag singlets.
And see,
Gotta...
me watching too much of today's product, when I saw him darting down the rampway, I was like, where the hell is he going? Is there like somebody coming out there that he's trying to stop?
You expected
attack, or-
music to
Yeah.
music to drop and up there to be a run-in.
It's like, nope, he's just
Yeah.
gonna turn around and run right back.
Yeah, fortunately, there's not a whole lot of run-ins in Japan, and if they do happen, they don't play the song.
No.
And there's no microphone.
Rick comes over to help his brother when Muta suplexes him. And then Heisei runs up the ramp, returning with a lariat on Rick.
One for each brother.
They finally return to the ring with Keiji locking on a figure 4 onto Scott before Hiroshi comes in to apply the Muta lock, followed by a double team wishbone. Muta's working the ankle, only for Scott to reverse it, but it sends him close enough to the corner to tag in Heisei, who starts chopping away at Steiner, only for him to retaliate with a dragon suplex. Rick comes in with a running power slam into a corner, but Hiroshi fights back with chops and allows Keiji to come in with a snapmare and the flash elbow. Muta goes to work on Rick's arm, but he powers up, slamming Keiji to break the hold. Heisei comes in with a Uranagi, goes to the top turnbuckle, but Scott grabs him from the outside, allowing Rick to recover to hit a top rope belly to belly.
Ugh. The Uranagi is a rock bottom.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, what? It's like I was watching. It's like, it's not the rock bottom. What is it called? I can't remember. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. A rock bottom without the, eyebrows and flair.
Scott with a lariat. Muta runs in to eat a lariat as well, followed by the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Hiroshi for a 2 count. Scott then hits the Steiner screwdriver, which is a stalling vertical suplex into a sit-out tombstone piledriver.
Yeah, I was like, when did I see this? Have I seen this before?
You've probably seen... We've never seen Steiner do it before,
Yeah.
but if you watch the current day product, it's basically Brian Cage's finisher, the drill
okay.
claw.
Okay. Well, it looks fucking awesome. Right?
Yes.
Yes, it looks devastating.
It looks very devastating.
He lands right on his fucking head.
Yeah.
Heisei, I was like, he's dead. I was watching this, and I immediately, paused it, found a GIF of it, and sent it to one of my friends. And he was like, is that guy's dead, right? And I was like, it's like, no, they went like another 5 minutes. I was like, Hiroshi Heisei is a fucking badass.
He's dead.
I don't know how many more times we see this move because I don't know who would want to take this move from Scott Steiner.
Yeah, like from anybody, let alone from Scott Steiner. It's like, I think the only person scarier to take it from would be like Vader. But I think it might be less scarier
Maybe
than
Dan Spivey.
Than whoa, wow, yeah, because Dan can't do it. But yeah, it might be less scary than Vader's shoot punches. Than his like forearm like lip busters.
KG looks to jump in to help, but Rick runs over and delivers a top rope belly to belly suplex to him.
Second top rope belly to belly of the match.
Scott drags Heisei to his feet, hits a
By the hair.
clothesline, but Hiroshi doesn't go down. Second one doesn't work. Tries for a third, only for Heisei to catch him with a Uranagi. Hiroshi follows up with another Uranagi for a 2 count. No. Muta comes in with a back body drop, a drop kick, and a top rope face crusher. KG continues with a drop kick to send Rick out to the floor, before sailing over the ropes himself with a pescado, while Heisei hits a German suplex and a Northern Light suplex on Scott. Makes the cover, only for Rick to be able to make the save.
So much stuff happened all there in tandem. It was like it was almost like a Southern Boys Freebird or rock and roll match. It was like, oh, I don't know what to look at, but these guys are big guys.
Muta is tagged in, sending Scott to the corner, following in with the cartwheel back elbow and another face crusher. He tries for the dragon suplex, but Rick breaks it up, so KG hits a backbreaker and the moonsault for the near fall, while Hiroshi takes care of Rick. Muta goes to run the ropes, only for Scott to surprise him with the Frankensteiner.
I was like, they're doing so much. Why don't these colors bleed? I'm pulling for the little guys.
Everyone makes tags, allowing Rick to hit a Steiner line on Heisei, followed by a press slam and an elbow drop for a 2 count. Rick hits the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Hiroshi, a lariat on Muta, and lifts Heisei up onto his shoulders, while Scott climbs to the top rope to hit a DDT.
Oof.
Double team Irish whip to KG, followed by a double shoulder block. Scott then lifts Hiroshi up onto his shoulders, with Rick coming off the top rope with the bulldog for the pin and the win.
Incredible.
2 words, short and list.
Oh yeah, this is fucking incredible. It's so good. How bad did you want those guys to win, even though you know they weren't going to?
I didn't know that they weren't going to. So.
Oh, that's even better. I mean, I assumed they weren't, but I was also like, I didn't know. They could have won. That's why the match is so good.
No clue who was going to win this match.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, you're like, well, it's the Steiner brothers.
Yeah, I mean, but like that's what I was thinking is, it's Steiner brothers.
But no, I seriously,
it's Muto and Heisei as well. So
that's why those near falls at the end. Like, I didn't know. It wasn't like one of those things where I assumed when I started the match the Steiner brothers would win. And I watched the match, and I wanted the other guys to win so bad that I couldn't even think about it because it did what pro wrestling is here to do. Brought you in. I want to point out something that's very fun in this Tokyo Dome.
What's that?
There's gigantic Sonic the Hedgehog banners in the place, and that's just a really fun thing to see because it's like, oh, it's 94. Sega's taking over the Super Nintendo right now with all their ads and their Sonic the Hedgehog. That's their key to win. Blast processing.
But that 64 is not too far away.
Yeah, what a turd. No, it was just nice. It was nice to see a thing that's so dead now. Sega and Sonic the Hedgehog, even though there was a movie recently.
Which is great.
Yeah, I haven't watched the movie, but I think I saw that it was on Amazon. I might save it for a rainy day. I did think that the original design was incredible, and that the trailer and there were some really great posters for that movie before they changed him to make him look like Sonic the Hedgehog instead of make him look like
Sonic's weird uncle.
Yeah, instead of making him look like a test for cats, a CGI test for the Cats film.
So we're off to our 8th match. Hulk Hogan with Jimmy Hart versus Tatsumi Fujinami. So last time we saw Fujinami was at the G1 Climax 93, episode 97. And Hogan at King of the Ring 93, all the way back in episode 92.
So long ago.
But maybe not long enough.
Yeah.
Hogan looks lean.
Very lean.
He has definitely lost some mass.
I think it looks better on him. I think he looks scarier this way. Because he doesn't look as, like, puffy. Like, I don't know, it's one of those things like, oh, like, I can see the muscles. It's not just, like, a marshmallow man that if you touch is hard. Like, he looks like, I don't know, I think that he wears the lean look really well.
I'll agree with you there.
I prefer the 23-inch python is what I'm saying.
So the two men shake hands before Fujinami locks on a headlock. Hulk tries to escape with a back suplex, only for Tatsumi to hang on to the hold.
Crank it in.
Hogan tosses Fujinami to the ropes, ducks a clothesline, and hits a pair of arm drags to start working the arm. Back to the headlock when Hulk muscles out of it to deliver a cross arm breaker takedown, but is unable to lock it in completely, so Tatsumi goes back to the headlock, taking Hogan down to the mat, which Hogan reverses it into a head scissors and an armbar.
It's crazy to see Hulk Hogan do wrestling moves. He's not bad at them. He's also, like, by no means has had any, like, strong practice.
Probably not in at least 10 years.
Yeah, so, like, it's just nice to see him do wrestling moves and be like, hey, man, could you have just, like, been a little bit, at least done a wrestling move for fucking a decade instead of just burying everybody by shaking like an asshole and hitting a fucking leg drop?
Yeah, my main note for this is, wait, do I like Hogan in Japan? 'Cause...
You like him more than a big boot leg drop?
Yeah. I mean, I guess...
Big boot leg drop was fun when it first started.
Yeah.
When we were kids.
Yeah. That first month
30-something years later, it's boring as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Less than that. It got boring, 90...
Yeah,
90? Yeah.
Shoot, I'd probably go back to like 88.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
Hogan throws Fujinami into the corner, charging in, only for Tatsumi to avoid and hit another arm drag, followed by multiple drop kicks to send Hulk out of the ring to regroup. Where Fujinami looks to dive out, but Hogan moves away from ringside, so Tatsumi doesn't risk it. Back in the ring, Hulk starts showing off some mat wrestling with side headlock takedowns, drop toe holds, reverse chin locks, arm bars, and hammer locks to keep Fujinami down.
And I heard the announcers say Axe Bomber. So I was like, okay, that's Fujinami's deal, is the Axe Bomber. So I was like,
That's
wait.
Hogan's thing.
Oh, okay.
So you remember all the way back in No Holds Barred? The movie?
Yes.
The move he uses in the movie,
Axe Bomber?
That's the Axe Bomber, and that was his finisher that he would use back when he worked in Japan.
Oh.
Way back in like the early 80s.
So I was like thinking that it was a Fujinami thing, so I was like waiting for him to hit it because he does like, it happens. We'll talk about it, but that makes a lot more sense for also what happens. I just thought it was kind of a like, gotcha buddy, which would have been really shitty if that was the case. Maybe even shittier than leg drop, big boot leg drop, as far as disrespectful.
Yeah. Tatsumi makes his way to the corners. Hogan gives a clean break, only for Fujinami to push the Hulkster before going for the octopus hold and hitting the ground cobra twist. But
Octopus hold on Hulk Hogan looks very funny.
But Hogan is in the ropes. Hulk then goes for an ab stretch into a ground cobra twist, but this time Tatsumi is too close to the ropes. The two go into a test of strength, with Hogan gaining control, hitting a vertical suplex and an elbow drop for a 2 count. Multiple headbutts, a big boot, body slam, and Hulk goes for the leg drop, only for Fujinami to move in time.
It felt so good to watch Hogan fall on his stupid ass.
Tatsumi with kicks to Hogan's legs.
Yeah, Hogan's selling the leg. He's selling something.
But an eye rack and a back scratch puts the Hulkster back in control, sending Fujinami across the ring, charging in with a jumping knee.
I love a back rake when Hogan doesn't do it.
Hogan then hits an axe bomber that sends Tatsumi over the ropes and onto the ramp. He follows out only to miss a clothesline, allowing Fujinami to lariat Hulk back into the ring.
A real 360.
Tatsumi with a body slam goes up top for a knee drop for a 2 count and applies the Scorpion Deathlock, but Hogan makes the ropes to break the hold. Hulk reverses an Irish whip, charging in with another axe bomber, but Fujinami ducks and locks on a sleeper before turning it into a dragon sleeper.
He tells him. He says he yells axe bomber. You told him, so he ducked.
Hogan muscles up, running Tatsumi into a corner. Hulk then hits multiple axe bombers for the pin and the win.
Good shit.
Boom.
Best Hogan match ever?
I mean, as far as like
What we've seen?
as far as like work goes, yes. There's like stories and stuff, but Hogan had to wrestle here, and he actually like
Pulled his weight.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, he did about 100 times better than Brutus did.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Like Hogan looked like it was a good wrestling match. If that was anybody else other than Hulk Hogan, it would still be a really good wrestling match. Like if you did all the same stuff, but it was a different human being, it's just a really solid wrestling match.
Yeah. So we go to our 9th match. Riki Choshu versus Yoshiaki Fujiwara.
Of Fujiwara armbar fame.
Exactly.
And Riki Choshu of How Does a Man Get So Big? he's a true brick wall.
So the last time we saw Fujiwara was at the G1 Climax 93, episode 97. And Choshu all the way back at Super Show 2, which was episode 65. So these two are back and forth to start with headlocks, takedowns. They're working appendages until Riki kicks Fujiwara into the ropes when Yoshiaki catches one, taking Choshu down to the mat once again.
Fuji is old.
Yes.
Just saying. Ricky's not like, 20.
Ricky's up there in age as well.
Yeah, but Fuji is like, you know how Minoru Suzuki looks now? He's got like the like dad legs.
That's exactly
how Fuji looks.
Fuji looks in this.
Yeah, and he also can still go, which we're about to see. But the crowd is hot as fuck. I don't know exactly the story here.
Once
but
again, it's another New Japan versus War type match.
Yeah, this is just like dream match shit.
Yeah. Fujiwara with a leg lock until Riki makes the ropes to break the hold. But Yoshiaki goes right back to work on the leg with an elevated single leg crab until Choshu is able to kick him off. Riki goes for a running lariat, but Yoshiaki ducks and goes for the Fujiwara armbar, only for Choshu to grab the ropes before it's locked in. So Yoshiaki tosses Riki to the middle of the ring and goes for it once again, only for Choshu to again make it to the ropes. Fujiwara with several kicks to the arm. He's stomping away on Riki, but Choshu fires out of a corner with multiple lariats, but they don't take Yoshiaki down.
He's old and stubborn.
Fujiwara ducks a 4th attempt and again goes for the armbar, but Riki knees his way free and delivers a lariat for the pin and the win.
And I know that was fast, but this match was really emotional and tense.
It was that, but you could definitely tell that it was two older gentlemen in the ring.
Yeah,
and
for
they
sure.
needed to make it shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love Fujiwara's shoe choice. He was wearing like a pair of Asics. It reminded me of a Action Bronson lyric. My taste in Asics will leave you floating in the fucking Matrix. Really doesn't mean anything at all. But that's why you listen to Action Bronson, is for the fun.
So we're off to our 10th match. Shinya Hashimoto versus Masahiro Chono for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Couple of Musketeers.
Absolutely. Last time we saw both men was at the G1 Climax 93, episode 97.
First things first, Hashimoto is the champ, right?
So Shinya's the champion
Yes.
going into the match. They don't show entrances or anything like that, so sometimes it's
a little rough.
Sometimes hard to tell who's the champion.
I had to keep an eye out. I was like, oh, he's got the belt, and they're taking it from him to the desk.
With the announcer, when it sounds like the same thing constantly of just.
It's pretty good, Matt. I liked it. It's kind of funny that like they have the same like syllables in their names. Yeah. Masahiro, Chono.
So the two men avoid each other's strikes as the match gets going, before some back and forth until they trade kicks that they both know sell.
Oh yeah, it's serious, guys. Duh, it's the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Shinya with an Irish whip, and the two collide with neither going down. Hashimoto hits a shoulder block, chops, and applies a leg lock to begin working the leg of Masahiro, eventually delivering multiple kicks and twisting his knee around the ropes.
I wish there was a match like one of my favorite matches of last year where it was just a kick match between Ibushi and Taichi, but I want a Hashimoto kick match, but I don't know who I want it with. But I just want his big boy kick. I guess they could have done one just right here because Chono has those pump kicks that I also love. Pump kick versus...
What about Shinya versus Vader? And Shinya just delivers kicks, and Vader just delivers fists.
Oh my god.
Chono comes back with a drop toe hold, putting a leg lock of his own on, but releases it to stomp away on Hashimoto. Shinya responds with chops, elbows, a jumping front lock, a jumping front kick, and a kick to the throat before locking on a single leg crab. Back to their feet, Hashimoto continues with some more stiff kicks, only for Masahiro to retaliate with a Yakuza kick. But Shinya is right back to continue the kick party to get a 2 count.
You know who doesn't need to slap their leg when they lay in a kick?
These two guys.
My boy Shinya Hashimoto, goddammit.
Chono with a knee to the gut, only for Hashimoto to hit a lariat for another 2 count, before applying a key lock into a standing armbar for a moment. Shinya with a back suplex, belly to belly for another near fall, before trying for a DDT. But Masahiro knees him in the stomach to block the move. So Hashimoto continues with a bridging German suplex and a front suplex, followed by an elbow drop for a 2 count.
The kaiju, Shinya Hashimoto.
Shinya goes for the arm, only for Chono to reverse it into a leg lock. But Hashimoto makes the ropes and begins to kick Masahiro hard in the chest. Shinya attempts a brain buster, but Chono floats over and delivers a back suplex. Heads up top, only for Hashimoto to join him. So Masahiro pushes him back off and hits a diving shoulder block before kicking him in the face several times for a 2 count and a busted nose.
The hard way, brother. Those big Chono boots.
Chono with a Samoan drop applies a single leg crab before turning it into the STF. Shinya crawls towards the ropes, so Masahiro changes it into a sleeper, but lets it go to deliver some Yakuza kicks.
That's the pump kick.
Yes.
I need to remember to call it that. I'm always like, it's pump kick, because it's what I would call it if it wasn't a Yakuza kick, but it's a Yakuza kick because that's cooler.
If it wasn't Chono, it'd be a pump kick.
Yeah. But
So,
I gotta deliver the respect to the man.
Yakuza are nothing, man.
Chono continues the attack with a running forearm, goes for another Yakuza kick, but Hashimoto catches him with a judo throw.
Roll through, baby.
Shinya goes for a DDT, which Chono gets out of by kicking him low and applying a rolling leg submission, only to release it and go back to the STF, before releasing it to hit a Yakuza kick. Tries for a second one, but Hashimoto catches him with a drop kick.
300-pound drop kick.
Shinya sweeps the leg before going to an Achilles heel hold and a rolling fireman's carry slam for a near fall. Hashimoto goes for a suplex, only for Masahiro to cradle him up for a 2 count. But Shinya's up first, so he lifts Chono up onto the turnbuckle, hitting a superplex for the pin, and no! Masahiro kicks out.
And they do the superplex perfectly. Shinya sells the back of his head, is slow to the pin. That's a superplex, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, all you wrestlers that aren't listening, that's how a superplex is. You don't kill the superplex.
That's right. Pull it up. Battlefield 1994, match 10, Almost at
That's
the...
how you do
That's
it.
how you
Yeah.
do it. Popping up after a superplex. You're not Road Warrior Hawk.
Chono begins to fire up, hitting an enziguri, only for Hashimoto to hit one as well, before coming off the ropes with a spinning heel kick and hitting several knees to the gut of Masahiro, followed by a brainbuster for a near fall.
That brainbuster that we've teased twice. We got it, but it didn't do the job.
Damn it.
Shinya then hits the jumping DDT for the pin and the win. This is actually the first time Hashimoto had ever beaten Chono.
I'm going to cry.
History is made here.
So the question is, really, if you guys had known that that was the history between these two, would it have added a little bit more to this match?
Yeah, and spoilers, this is my favorite match on the show. But also, like I said, Shinya Hashimoto is like maybe my favorite wrestler. He's got big Tom energy, big Tomohiro Ishii energy, or Ishii has Hashimoto energy. He doesn't do the kicks, but he's just a big old beast, a brawler. Hashimoto can do the other stuff, but he's there to just kick the shit out of you. It's like, well, if this, like, I can meet you where I need to be met, but until then, it's all kicks. Also, this iteration of the belt kind of doesn't look very good.
So we're off to our 11th match. Genichiro Tenryu versus Antonio Inoki. Another one of those War versus New Japan matches. And this the two biggest guys in both promotions. So
Yeah, I mean, Inoki started the promotion.
Yeah.
Dad fight.
Yes, this is a dad fight, but this is a dad fight on a different level than our previous dad fight.
So last time we saw Inoki was all the way back at Super Show 2, episode 65. And Tenryu was actually at Royal Rumble 93, episode 86.
He was there. I forgot about that.
Inoki has the greatest face. I wish that he was an actor in like fucking Japanese gangster movies, because there's no way he's a bad actor. The face like that, it wouldn't matter.
So the two men trade headbutts and slaps to start when they go into a test of strength before Inoki goes to the leg. But Genichiro makes the ropes to break the hold. Tenryu with chops and enziguri, but Antonio retaliates with the same, followed by a sleeper, only for Genichiro to reach the ropes quickly.
I mean, the crowd's hot as hell, obviously. There's a reason this was above the title belt.
Yeah. Inoki doesn't release the hold immediately, and
No.
the ref begins to chastise him as Tenryu crumples to the mat, out cold.
Yeah,
You know better than that, Inoki.
the ref's like pushing in between them, right? Every time?
Yeah.
Like, he's just like legitimately like trying to forcibly get in between the two men.
Don't make me knock you out, Earl.
The ref is giving him space to wake up, but this goes on for quite some time
Yes.
until the ref just
Quite some time.
starts shaking him. and
He's
then-
selling it like the man needs to leave.
Yeah.
Like he needs to leave in an ambulance.
And then Genichiro's war friends, they end up sliding him out of the ring to help him out as well.
Yeah, and Inoki's being a complete shithead about this the whole time. And everyone's like kind of pissed at him. And by kind of pissed, everyone's pissed at him.
Finally, Tenryu wakes up, slides back into the ring, where Antonio meets him with right hands, but Genichiro comes back with sumo slaps and another enziguri, but is still too dazed to capitalize.
Yeah, it looks good. This is like one of those things where it's like, oh, this is really long. This like him on the mat. Even I was like, this is taking forever, but it's still. It doesn't feel dumb. It's still for some reason it has big fight energy. Is what I'm saying. It's got big fight energy.
I was okay with him being knocked out, but it probably went on just a little bit too long.
Yeah, a little bit too long for sure.
Because literally, if any of us got knocked out and we sold it that, like, the ref's just going to call for the bell.
Yeah.
You would think.
Fighting spirit though.
Yeah.
It's Japan pride.
Inoki comes back with an enziguri of his own, only for Tenryu to pop up and deliver a lariat. Tonio's up first, applying the octopus hold, only for Genichiro to escape with a hip toss and hitting a kick to the face. But Inoki comes right back with a cross armbreaker, which Tenryu makes the ropes to break the hold, only for Antonio to continue the attack till the very last second. Inoki's being relentless in the attack on the arm, even with Genichiro still in the ropes. But once Tenryu's up, he begins to knee Antonio multiple times, followed by kicks and a forearm across the face that sends Inoki rolling out to the floor. Back in, Tenryu continues the attack with chops, Irish whip, and charges in, only for Antonio to hit a Amatsuguri, a rolling wheel kick.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's like right on the fucking button. It could not have like landed any better. It looks incredible.
He locks on a sleeper, but the ref deems it a chokehold and forces Inoki to break the hold. Genichiro's slow to his feet and is slapped several times once he has done so, but he fires up with chops and enziguri and a hard kick to the face for a 2 count. Tenryu hits a body slam for a 2 count before hitting a power bomb for the pin and the win. This would be the last time Inoki would ever be pinned.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
And it would also make Tenryu the only person in history to ever pin Inoki and Giant Baba.
Oh, wow. That's fucking awesome. This has big fight feel. Inoki is such a shithead. Like, and such good at being a shithead through this whole match. You're pulling for Tenryu so hard. Even though you appreciate how big of a fucking cocksucker Inoki
it's a New Japan show, so like going in, I was like, okay, cool, we're going to see a decent match, Inoki will win, and then Tenryu hits that powerbomb out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, what? What's
So
going
good.
on?
Yeah, so good. Was it Inoki Heisei match that
Yeah,
we
saw.
watched? That we like also really liked as far because we haven't watched a ton of
This really
Inoki
only
or
is-
Prime Inoki.
It's only the second Inoki match we've ever
Yeah,
seen.
but I mean, they're both incredible matches.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I thought I only saw one.
Yeah, it was
Before
that little
this one, I
Heisei
couldn't
one, which is
remember.
like I don't think we even had the whole match.
Yeah, I don't
but
think
we
I-
got like, but what we got, we were just like super into.
Absolutely. So post-match, both men take turns on the mic, with the ring filling up with various wrestlers from both promotions. Basically, they're calling an end to the war, or the feud with war.
Yeah. They're like, all right, everybody got 3 wins or whatever, so we're just gonna, shake hands.
Is over.
So I ask you,
What is it
gentlemen,
good for? Absolutely nothing.
what are your overall thoughts of Battlefield 94?
I mean, this is the good shit.
Yeah, this was
This is the good shit.
a very full show. Lots of people I don't know. Lots of purple, but mostly a positive outcome. With the exception, I didn't really care for the Brutus match, which, surprise, surprise. Then on the equally surprising
I'm
side,
gonna have to give Brutus some props a little bit, just because he literally is. This is like probably his second match in like 5 years.
yeah,
So I mean,
I'm nicer too. It was not over long. It was worst match, but a little more interesting than the first match, which is like a big multi-tag, which by no means is bad. It's just not a whole lot to bite onto.
yeah.
we'll give him your props now because I don't think there's going to be many props coming for him in the future.
This might be the last time we ever seen. I
Possibly.
don't know.
Who knows? Of the matches, the Brutus one was my stinker of them. I even liked a fucking Hogan match, which that says everything. So
I mean, we have a shortlist match on this show. We have
I got 2 of them, brother.
what I consider
Maybe
the
3.
best Hogan match we've ever seen,
Yeah.
and a lot of hard-hitting Japanese action.
yeah, and then
We
cap it off
literally
with the Legend versus Legend.
This is like the shit that I just want to watch. This is the shows that like I'm excited for the next one.
It's like you want to rewind back and like, hey, Starcade, look, see.
We literally should make a T-shirt out of what I say every time that we watch Japanese wrestling, and it's
3 word or 2
if you're
words.
able to watch Japanese wrestling, you watch Japanese wrestling.
Yes, it's just like
Like, it doesn't matter if you don't know who these people are. You can still get enjoyment out of watching it.
And the thing is, if you don't know who they are, you're gonna find out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna latch on to at least one guy in every match.
Yes, they leave a lasting
Impression.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right, fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So, best moments of the show.
Well,
We're just going to start with the best one. The Steiner screwdriver.
Yes, the pop up, drop, power, sit out.
Yes.
Whatever it was, and Heisei
because I think I was watching.
I thought he died.
I thought he died, but I legitimately popped.
No, I did too.
Out of my seat because I was just like, "Holy, what was that?"
Yeah, because he went up, and you're like, "Okay, well, there's a couple things you can do from here." That was not. That was
not what I was expecting.
Yeah, that was like a color that my eyeball couldn't register. It's just like, oh shit.
I mean, everything. There's just so many good moments. I mean,
honestly,
bridging German suplexes after bridging German suplexes in this.
There's a bridging German suplex in at least 50% of the matches.
Yeah, you've got beautiful bridging suplexes. You've got, it could easily go under most surprising, but just the fact that in a mask versus mask match, we had somebody who at the end took their mask off and threw it at the other one, which I'd never really seen before because I'm used to them standing there at the end and having the storyline struggle
ripping it off. And...
I don't want to do it, and then being held down and having it torn off them.
I mean, Shinya, Chono, Steiner's...
Heisei Muta.
Heisei. I was like, they don't have a team name. Heisei and Muto, both shortlist jams for me, with honorable mentions to Tiger Mask and Liger and Inoki Tenryu.
I mean, yeah,
Liger, those four matches.
Tiger Mask is probably on the short list as well if Tiger Mask doesn't slip off the ropes.
This whole show is extremely watchable, but those four matches, you guys would say those are the top four matches, probably, right? Even though there's a lot of other good stuff.
What was the other one? The fourth one?
Steiner's, Shinya, and then Inoki Tenryu. I think that one moment.
I like the Hogan match better than the Inoki match. Most likely just because the out cold part
is a little too long.
Yeah. Took a little too long.
I agree that that's a little too long, but I think that if we were in the aware of it and maybe watching it as it happened, that we would have been wrapped up in a different way than looking back at it. But can't disagree. I can't be no, that was the perfect link to sell.
But
being
basically,
out,
what
that's
we're
not
saying
true.
Is we've literally named 5 matches that we really, really enjoyed, really, really enjoyed on this show out of 11.
And the other tag matches, the other tag match is great too.
Both the other tag matches are great. Literally, my 2 least favorite matches are the Brutus match, and the Super Strong Machine match.
What about the tag, the multi-tag, or that just doesn't kind of count?
I thought the 10-man tag was. It's
probably I think it was very good.
One of the better 10-man tag matches that I've really ever seen.
Yeah, it is good. I just really have a hard time ever getting invested.
Which I totally understand. You're not going to be able to get a whole lot out of those, but you got to remember that it was also the first time that we're seeing Kojima and Nagata and Nakanishi as well, which are guys that I know well from now. Yeah. So it was fun to see those guys. It was the first time we'd seen Great Kabuki since all the way in episode 1.
Yeah.
So,
but this is a card that I would have easily pay top dollar. Absolutely. You know what I mean? This is a show that I would have left and been well, good luck topping that anytime soon. For me, attending live events.
Well, how about disappointing? Shane, you want to give us your Brutus take again?
I mean, that's what else is there really?
Yeah, I mean, there's
not really anything to be upset about. The fact that the knockout was a little too long.
Knockout was a little too long.
I think it sucked a little bit of air out of it.
Tiger Mask slipping off.
Honestly, I keep forgetting that he slipped too until it gets brought up. Just because there's so much
other shit.
I don't actually think it's the slipping off. It's they
didn't work.
They don't cover it.
Yeah.
And they just go right into what they were gonna do.
It's better than some shows. The first NXT UK where they miss a spot like twice and then just go and do it a third time. Yeah. And I'm like, guys, come on, this is not wrestling anymore. This is just like,
keep it moving, guys.
Yeah, this is not like Jackie Chan Take 3. Like, we have got this as a wrestling show. But
Goto kicking out on Super Strong Machine, like
I appreciate
him being stubborn and just being like, I don't want to take this pin.
I thought it was kind of awesome, but like it's a dickhead thing. But I was like, hell yeah, this guy's an asshole. I just kind of appreciate that energy. I don't want to, I'm not looking to hang out with him.
And I'm actually gonna say, I mentioned it earlier. Road Warrior Hawk just basically no selling the pile driver. Like, I know Road Warrior Hawk no sells a lot of things.
Yeah, but these guys
a pile driver should be one of... We've said it many times before. It should be one of the most devastating moves that there are, and just no sell it. Yeah. It just totally wipes out any...
It's like if in the match...
Effect
it's like it's like the superplex later in the show. If one of the guys popped out, we'd also complain about it. So just because you're a Road Warrior doesn't mean we can't... It's also one thing if the other team is smaller and it's not a pile driver, but these guys are like of equal size as you, and basically everybody just kind of no sells and does big power moves. This is kind of like a Haas match.
If Akira Nogami gives him a pile driver, then I'm like, okay, you can no sell that. That's one thing. But it was it Hercules?
It was either Hercules or Norton. It doesn't matter who it was.
They're both huge. Like a pile driver from those guys, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah. So. But yeah, some of the no selling in the super quote unquote super heavyweight tag match. But I think that was just there for four big guys to throw each other around, and it served its purpose on the card, and it was a unique style of match on the show. But yeah, I cannot justify no selling pile drivers.
How about best performer of the night?
This is difficult, correct?
Yeah. It's like,
I'm gonna give it to Hogan because I think he just like
shocked
me.
Default because like everybody is so good that one is like a fresh air.
I mean, we're gonna go ahead and say it's my most surprising thing too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna save him for my most surprising. I think my best performer, just because the match was awesome and the moment made me laugh during the middle of the match, but Rick Steiner lifting his leg to
well, you know how much I love Rick Steiner, and I really loved that Rick Steiner feels like he got to shine a little bit more than he has recently in this match. So I had a big old smile, and he looked like happy and cocky and like he was feeling it. So big love for Rick and how he played this match. It's like everybody knows Scott has outshined him at this point, but my heart is still huge for Rick.
Yeah. Scott's got the athleticism or whatever. I mean, Rick does too, but Rick has the personality.
Scott's a freak.
Scott didn't.
Like,
yes.
If Rick's a normal freak, like he's like a big strong guy, but Scott is just a like almost Lesnar style freak in some of the things that he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, eventually he gets a little too big to do them and whatnot, but, we'll get there.
How about most surprising?
Hogan. That's mine.
I kind of assumed
I
Hogan,
really liked Hogan
was going to do well, but I was still, like, when I finally saw it, it was just kind of, like, slack-jawed. Like, I had a feeling that it was going to be, like, that he was going to show up and not just be Hulkamania.
Yeah,
but it was still like I don't know how to explain.
I wasn't really. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I'd always heard that his work in Japan was a lot better than his American work, but I was completely blown away.
Yeah, exactly. It's because he's actually working.
I mean, another surprise. Inoki lost.
Yeah.
On a New Japan, their biggest show, and
I would say that was my biggest surprise, especially considering the way the match was booked. That like when he lost, I was like, oh, because like this show, the top of this card is what wrestling is to me. It's like, this is what I want. I don't need your in-ring segments. I appreciate Piper's Pit, but I don't necessarily need it. No. But I might need Piper's Pit if you're going to do the wrestling matches that those kind of things build to. Yeah. But here I don't need that. And if that was here, it would only take away. But this whole show builds from the bottom to the top. It's laid out so well, and it builds to like a big, each match becomes more important and more emotional as it goes on, all the way to the top. But Inoki's loss was the most surprising because he was such a dickhead. It's a New Japan show, essentially, and he laid down for the guy that oversold his knockout. So yeah, watch this thing.
Yes.
Find this.
Making their way to the ring.
It's trivia time.
Ready for this?
Never.
So this week the category is pay-per-feud.
We're back and it's time to play the feud. Let's have it. Shot.
So I will list the last 5 matches of a show, and you have to give me the name and year of that show. Points are based on when you make your guess, starting at 5 points, going down with each match given. The first match is the Hart Foundation versus Greg Valentine and Honky Tonk Man. Shane buzzes in.
The Hart Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Greg
I thought you had
Valentine and the Honky Tonk Man.
I don't, but
WrestleMania 6.
Yeah. It's like,
WrestleMania.
We can all do the math. We know the first one was in '85.
WrestleMania 6 is incorrect.
Oh.
That was a year off.
Michael, would you like to take a guess, or would you like another match?
Oh, you said a year off.
I might be wrong, though.
You can't be that far off.
It could be one of those tricky Saturday night's main events again.
Yeah, I'm going to go 5. W.
He's going WrestleMania 5.
Yeah.
And that is correct.
I knew it wasn't because after like 7, Honky Tonk Man is like basically out of there. So, and they only did that once. I knew it was, if it was WrestleMania, it was earlier. So, thank you, Shane. I needed the points.
Hey,
You're still very far ahead.
I'm happy to help.
I need it. I really do.
The other matches I would have given you would have been Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior for the WWF Intercontinental Championship.
You know who I miss? Rick Rude. I feel like it's been a while.
We just saw him like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
really?
something like that.
Emotionally, it feels like it was a while ago.
Bad News Brown versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The Red Rooster versus Bobby Heenan. And
I do not remember Red Rooster versus Bobby.
Well, it was Red Rooster versus Brooklyn Brawler, and if Red Rooster won, then he got Heenan, right? Or did they actually wrestle?
No.
Did they wrestle?
Basically, it was like a 1-minute match because
like Heenan. I think Heenan had like the Andre singlet on.
Yeah.
I do remember that. I just don't remember it being Terry Taylor.
Of course, the main event of that show would have been Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage for the WWF Heavyweight Championship.
Them exploding mega powers.
The mega powers. I mean, it brings me tears how well that was done.
So I'm kicking myself now because I know this. The Bolsheviks are who the Hart Foundation fought in WrestleMania 6. Come on, Shane.
So the scores as of now, Shane with 47 points. Michael is up to 31.
Ooh!
Cut into that lead a little bit.
A little bit.
You're only a teenager away now.
Oh, man.
Next week, Royal Rumble 1994.
That's Rumble.
Coming from Providence, Rhode Island.
Have we been to Rhode Island before?
I don't think so.
I know I hadn't. I wasn't for sure if there was one before I came along.
If there has been, it's only been once before.
I know it's the smallest state. I know Providence is the capital.
Family Guy, Rhode Island, right?
Maybe. I
think
don't
so.
know. I know their town is Quahog.
Quahog.
Quahog, Rhode Island.
Okay.
Music from this week's show is The Score by Emerson, Lake and Powell. And
Pre Palmer. Post-Palmer.
Post-Palmer.
I knew it was post-Palmer.
And Genichiro Tenryu won the main event, so we play his song Thunderstorm by Masayoshi Takanaki. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. And you can always email us any questions, comments, concerns, recipes.
We're going to Rhode Island, and go ahead and throw out some Georgias and Philadelphias and stuff too.
Yeah, we're gonna need them.
We're gonna be back.
Absolutely. And you can do that at WrestlingHistoryX@gmail.com. Or you can also find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX. We'll talk to you next week.
Laters.